Welcome, ladies. Today we are going to practice an earth sequence. So this is really good if there's anyone who's feeling a little bit sluggish and really tired, but you want to move, but you don't want to do anything too energetic. It's also a really good one if you're feeling tired in your body, but you've had a really busy day, you've got racing thoughts, you've got a little bit of anxiety as well. So this one's just one to literally bring us back down to earth, slow us down, and instill a little bit more calm into our days. So we're going to start easy seated how I am. So you can either, if it's too much sitting on a bolster, grab yourself, if you've got a stool like this, a cow stool, or you can grab a chair instead for the seated work. But pretty much 80% of today's practice is going to be down on the floor. So make sure you've got enough support that you're going to be really nice and comfortable. If you don't have a bolster like this, you can make one from blankets. I'll put on a post after this one so that you can see how to make your own bolster from blankets. So, starting in easy seated, Sukhasana, with support underneath the hips. That's really important for today. I want to have the knees more or less in line with the hips or a little bit lower, just to avoid rounding through the lower back and kind of reaching forward. So just going to connect with our breath. And because we're doing an earthing sequence and grounding, we're going to have the palms facing down. Connecting with your baby as you breathe into the heart and you breathe down towards your baby or your babies. Shoulders soft, arms relaxed, sides of the waist relaxed, the legs and the knees. Let go of any past facial expressions. Allow the jaw to unclench, maybe the lips to part. And we're going to take a brief breathing exercise. This is a really good one for preparation for birth as well. So just taking a breath in through the nose and breathing out through a tiny gap between the lips. So this gap between the lips wants to be maybe a paper thin gap. And establishing a steady breath with that in through the nose and the out through tiny part of the lips. Keeping the lips soft as you do this, so no need to purse the lips or pout them. And on your exhales, I'd like you to imagine a tiny, delicate golden thread weaving out from the lips. Gracefully releasing away into the distance, and as you breathe in, you start another round. And this golden thread is drawn further and further away on every exhalation. You may want to travel the golden thread out of the room that you're in, if you're in a room, or out of the space. Maybe over the rooftops, taking you all the way further and further to a place of comfort. This could be imaginary or a real place. And then bringing yourself back into the room or into the space that you are right now, and just take a nice normal breath. Bringing both hands onto your unborn baby, coming into our yoni mudra. So we're having the thumbs and the index fingers together. Now our yoni mudra represents the womb. And we're connecting the feminine and the masculine energy of the body down into the womb. So the feminine energy is the energy that represents release, letting go, and being open to receive. And the masculine energy is that energy of providing, of doing, of producing. And it's important that we work with both energies through the body to balance ourselves emotionally, spiritually, physically, and energetically. Let's reach the arms up and take a breath in. Kiss the hands into prayer. And as you breathe out, guide your prayer into your heart space. Taking a moment to set an intention for either yourself right now or one for you and your baby. You may want to come to an agreement with your baby that you will only be united once you are both ready. And remind them that if any time you become stressed or anxious, it's okay. You're letting them know that you're fine, you're just sometimes having a moment, and it's nothing to worry about. Communicating with your unborn child that you can't wait to meet them, and sending them the love that you have for them. Let's blink the eyes open, and we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Now, if you've got a strap or if you've got a couple of blocks, you may want to I'll give you the block option first. Blocks underneath the thighs just to support them to avoid the knees rolling out too far. If you've got a strap or a belt, if it's long enough, you can wrap it around the legs to hold the knees in as well. But if you've got blocks or books, that's always quite a good option to use. So we're going to have the hands on the knees again. We're going to just rock over to our right hip and then tilt the pelvis forward as we come forward, roll over to the left and tucking the pelvis in as we roll to the tailbone and just rocking through these 4 points, 4 bony landmarks. Let's go the other way. whilst we're taking these circles, take them as slow as you want and just reverse back around the other way again. You can maybe look down at your legs, and as you're visualising moving through these 4 points of the pelvis, you can maybe visualise that in your legs at the moment. So as you roll onto your right hip, that would be your right knee. Rolling into the front of the pelvis, that would be your feet. Rolling over to the left knee, your left side of the pelvis, and then all the way back in towards the groin. And let's go the other way for a few more breaths. Maybe imagining you're spiraling yourself into the earth to find that security and connection. And find stillness. Okay, from here, I'm going to just take a little bit of work for the pelvic floor. So those 4 bony landmarks, you could imagine there's a hammock which is held by those 4 points. And as you breathe in, you're just lifting the hammock all the way up, so our pelvic floor, so that muscle that we hold if we need a wee, if we need to pass wind, and we're trying our best not to. And then as you breathe out, release the pelvic floor and let it go. So we're going to breathe in through the nose, lift the pelvic floor, breathe out through the mouth, and relax the pelvic floor. In as you lift, and out. We're going to do 5 more rounds of this. Maybe take that golden thread breath that we did right at the beginning. And connect that with this pelvic floor work. Breathing in and out. Relax the pelvic floor. 3 more. Breathe in and lift. Breathe out, relax. Breathe in and lift. Breathe out and relax. Last one, breathe in and relax. Brilliant. Okay, pop your support out the way. We're going to open the legs out to, if you've got any pelvic niggles at the moment, keep the legs just a tiny bit wider than hip width or hip width. If you're okay in the hips at the moment and you're not experiencing any pelvic pain, you can take them a little bit wider, but not too wide. So we're going to just draw the right knee up and pop it down. Doing the same on the left. And breathing on each leg. So the inhale to lift up, exhale to bring it down. Inhale to lift up, exhale to pop it down. Let's do 2 more rounds. Last round. Okay, let's bring the feet together. I'm going to walk the feet over to one side and take the hands over to the other side as you come onto hands and knees. So take a moment to just rock from side to side and then take some rolls through the hips. Hugging your baby in. So keeping that connection. And let's go the other way. And let's do some cat-cow. So So if you're suffering with wrist niggles at all, excuse me, I'm just going to take a sip. Come on to hands and knees. As I said in previous videos, you support, if you're struggling, sorry, I'm going to say that again. If you're struggling with wrists, you can come on to forearms and knees instead. But as I mentioned before, you can use support like blocks or use a bolster instead, like this, okay? So we're going to just take a breath in, round through the back, hug all the way in, and breathe out, lift the tailbone, reach the heart forward without collapsing through the spine. So we're not coming into a cow pose, we're keeping the pelvis long and the spine long. Breathe in, round through the back. Breathe out, release. Reach the heart forward, gaze up, shoulder blades slide down the back. Breathe in, round through the back. And out. Let's do one more, breathe in. And out. And take yourself back into a child's pose. If you're quite far into your third trimester, and child's pose isn't comfortable for you at the moment, if your baby's quite a big one, obviously you can always take hands and knees here and just draw the hips back and rock from side to side instead. Excuse me. It's hay fever season already now. Okay, let's take one more breath. And we're going to walk the hands back towards the knees, tuck the toes, and then set the soles of the feet onto the floor. Make room for baby, hands onto the thighs. Take a breath in, round through the back. Breathe out, release the tailbone. Take a breath in, round through the back. And as you breathe out, walk the hands down onto the floor. Walk forward onto hands and knees, rock from side to side. And then we're going to take the right leg behind us. Take a breath in. Take this nice and slow. And as you breathe out, float it forward. If it gets stuck halfway through, just shove it on through. Keeping the right knee in line with the ankle. We're going to bring the right hand onto the right thigh, and we're going to lift all the way up. Take a deep breath in, and breathe out. Bring the hands down onto the mat. Take the right leg back, rock from side to side. Take the left leg behind, breathe in. Check in with your intention, keep hugging your baby in, and as you breathe out, guide the left foot forward. Left hand onto the left thigh. Reach the arms up, take a breath in, squeeze the right butt cheek. Breathe out, come back down, right hand down, then left hand, left foot goes back, rock from side to side. And we're going to tuck the toes, walk the hands back to the knees, set the soles of the feet on the floor, take the feet nice and wide, hands come up onto thighs, take a breath in, round through the back. Breathe out, release the tailbone away. Breathe in, round through the back. Breathe out, walk the hands down the legs, onto the mat, coming forward onto hands and knees. Rock from side to side. And then when you're ready, take the right leg behind, take a breath in, hug your baby in. Breathe out, guide the right foot forward, assist it through if it gets stuck. Pushing the top of the back foot down. Right hand onto thigh, reach the arms all the way up, deep breath in. And breathe out, bring the hands down onto the mat one by one. Right leg goes back, rock side to side. Left foot goes behind, take a breath in. Breathe out, guide the left foot forward, outside of that left hand onto the thigh. Reach all the way up, breathe in, squeeze the right butt cheek. Breathe out, come back down. Hands to the mat, left leg back, rock from side to side. Tuck the toes. Walk the hands back towards the knees. Set the soles of the feet onto the floor. Walk the hands up to the thighs. Take a rock from side to side here. And take a deep breath in. Gaze towards your babies or your baby. And breathe out, release the tailbone away. Gaze all the way up, shoulder blades down the back. And then we're going to roll up through the spine, vertebra by vertebra. And then reach the arms all the way up. Take a deep breath in. And hands come through to prayer, to your heart space. Brilliant. So for the next one, what we're going to do is we're going to find some wall space. So I'm going to turn you guys to face me here. Move this chair. I should have thought about this before, really. But this is me. Yeah, this should be fine here. Actually, let's go a little bit further away. So we're going to find a wall space. And we're going to stand with the wall on the right hand side of us. I hope you guys can see me. Okay. Right hand side. So our right hand is against the wall. Feet are going to be hip width apart or a little bit wider. Knees remain really, really soft. We're going to lift the left arm up. So take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, reach over to the wall. But be mindful that you're not straightening this left leg and we're not sticking the hip out. So we're keeping the hip still. We're just reaching over. Almost try and draw your left hip downwards. If you feel that you start to kind of come too close towards the wall, take yourself a bit further. Breathe down that left side of the waist. And then come back to centre, push through the feet. And we're going to face the wall. And we're going to step our right leg forward and the left leg back. Now, feet are going to be hip width apart or a little bit wider, and a nice short stance as well. Back foot is going to turn out, so on a 45-degree angle. And you're going to bend your right knee towards the wall. Reach the arms all the way up and get a stretch into that back leg and squeeze the bottom. Hug all the way in here. So hug baby in, give them a nice big squeeze and breathe here. If you want, you can take it a little bit deeper into this front foot and maybe see how it feels lifting the arms away from the wall. We've got 3 more breaths. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. One more, in and out. Release the hands onto the wall. Bending both knees. You're going to step your right leg back to meet the left. And we're going to rock side to side in a down dog against the wall. So be mindful, if you're an ambitious yogi already, which most of you are, be mindful not to feel that you've got to really, really stretch here, because we're not going for that. We're just taking the weight off the spine and we're rocking side to side. So this should feel really good for anyone who's getting lower back pain. This is a really good one to do in labour as well. So you can take some hip rolls here. It doesn't look like the most glamorous thing, but that's far from the point right now. We want to just create space and just feel grounded. And also just maintain that nice connection with baby. Let's take one more breath. Gazing towards your hands, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, start walking up towards the wall again. And we're going to turn with the wall on our right hand side once again. We're going to come into a tree pose, so balanced posture. So first option is to keep the ball of the left foot on the floor and just cross it along the lower right shin. Main thing is that we want to make sure we're squeezing our bottom so we don't collapse into the hips now. You can then maybe slide the left foot up the inside of the right leg. Make sure it's not on the knee. If it's available, bring it all the way up. But we don't want to open this knee too far out. So in traditional yoga, where it's not pregnancy specific, we would be thinking about opening the hips, but you guys, your hips are going to be opening already, so we just want to keep it here. So squeeze the right butt cheek, walk the right hand up the wall, and reach the left arm up. Drop the shoulders, and take 3 deep breaths in, and 4 breaths out. Maybe test yourself and take both hands off, so that right hand off the wall. Let's do 2 more breaths actually. Let's do 5 breaths in total. If you're feeling confident, maybe give a go at closing the eyes for a second or 2. See where your balance is. And pop the right hand onto the wall if it's lifted. Hold on to the left thigh, unravel the left leg and just set the left foot down and rock from side to side. Cool, we're going to do that on the other side now. So we're going to come onto our left side. So for this, I'm going to do it, I'm just going to do it on my right side again, but you're going to be on your left. Because otherwise I'm going to be talking away from you. So what we did first, we opened the feet out to hip width, bending the knees, and we're going to lift the right arm up this time so the wall is on our left, and as we breathe out we're going to reach over to the left, drawing the right hip down, sinking the toes into the earth and the heels and dropping the tailbone. Breathe down the right side of the waist. And think about the length here as opposed to the lean. One more breath. Gently push into the wall and bring yourself up. Turning to face the wall. We're going to have our left foot forward this time, so I am doing the same as you, this way. And we're going to step the right foot back. Feet hip width apart, nice short wide stance. Bend into the front knee, tuck the tail and reach the arms up, coming into warrior 1. Split the floor with the feet. Maybe take the hands off the wall, get a little bit more strength if you want to. 4 more breaths. Now as you're finding stillness here, feel the connection between your feet and the earth, the stillness and the stability. Lovely. If the hands are off the wall, bring the hands onto the wall. Bring them down about chest height. Step the left foot back to meet the right and take your downward facing dog against the wall again. So if anyone feels that this again is still too much on wrists, come onto forearms instead against the wall. You can always do that there. Usually feels quite good anyway. Even if you haven't got wrist niggles, I'm not doing it because I've got a candle in front of my head on the wall, so there's no room. And just take some little rolls of the hips here. And take it the other way. towards the hands, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, walk up towards the wall again, turning to your right so you have the wall on your left, coming into tree pose again. So sliding the right heel onto the front of the left shin, ball of the foot on the floor, you can stay here and do the arm movements, or slide the foot up onto the calf, or all the way up. Make sure it's not on the knee, and also make sure we're not pushing that knee outwards. Squeezing your left butt cheek, so the butt cheek of the standing leg. Walking the left arm up the wall and reach the right arm up. Shoulders really nice and soft. We've got 5 breaths. You could picture yourself with the energy running through, kind of like the energy running through a tree. So gathering nutrients from the earth and growing branches. If you like to get creative. And one more breath. And take hold of that right thigh with the right hand. Bring the left hand down. And set the right foot onto the floor and take a little rock from side to side through the legs. And then make your way back onto your mats. So you're going to stand at the back of your mat. Put this back. So yeah, you're going to stand at the back of your mat. Feet apart. Rolling the shoulders up, back and down. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, bring the hands down onto the thighs. Take a breath in to round through the back. Breathe out, walk the hands down the legs onto the mat. Coming forward onto hands and knees. And rock from side to side. Take a child's pose, so opening the knees to mat's width, toes together, bottom comes back to heels, or grab a bolster or a block between your heels and your bottom if you want to, especially if baby is already quite big and there's not so much room to kind of rest down. You might want to have a support between the bottom and the heels. Take one more breath here. Come back onto hands and knees. I'm going to walk we're going to come onto our bottoms either way. So I'm going to face this way. So we're going to take the hands over to one side, the feet go over to the other, and keep walking the hands all the way around to set the bottom onto the floor. So using a cushion underneath the hips here, or a block. A block might be a little bit too high for some people though, so a cushion will suffice. Let's do some side stretches. So let's bring the left leg in here. So right foot wants to stay nice and soft. Move back a little bit so you can see me a bit better. And if you want, you can always use a support under this left hip if you feel that you need it. Right hand onto right shin. We're going to lift the left arm up, take a breath in. As we breathe out, reach sideways, rotating the heart upwards. Breathe and come to center. And breathe out, take yourself over to the left. Breathe in, come to centre. Breathe out, take yourself to the right. Breathe in, come to centre. Breathe out, come to the right. Inhale, centre. Exhale to the right. Last one to the centre. And back to the left. And then find yourself just finishing off body central. Taking the left leg out, using a bolster or blocks underneath the hands, softening the knees. We're going to take a gentle forward fold here. So keep the heart upright. Even if you're really, really upright, you don't have to get the head down to the floor or onto the bolster. You can also use the bolster underneath your head and just relax it here so you've got something to support your head. But we're just taking a fold forward just to lengthen the limbs out. Maybe rock from side to side. Let's take one more breath here. And bring yourself back up. Bending the right knee in. Left hand onto left shin. Right arm lifts up, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, reach sideways, rotating the heart upwards. Breathe in, come to centre. Breathe out, take yourself to the right. Breathe in, centre. Breathe out to the left. As always, you can use support underneath the arm. So if you wanted to use the support of a block underneath the right hand here, you can. Inhale, centre. You're probably already there anyway because I took ages on that side. Sorry. One more. Just one more round of forward and back. And come to centre. Opening the legs out again. And taking that forward fold. So take a breath in. Lift and lengthen through the spine and the crown of the head. Breathe out, fold yourself forward. Bending the knees if you want to. So if anyone feels like this would actually feel better to get the forward fold, then obviously do that. You don't have to have straight legs at all. And let's take one more breath here. And then float the body back upright. Pop block or bolster at the way. Obviously don't do what I just did there. Push it away. Unless it's really, really light. So, Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. Soles of the feet together. This one you might want to use a block underneath the hips. So just slide to one side. And then, I know it's easier said than done because I'm not pregnant. But just get your bum on a block however you can. Using support is, again, if you feel that you need to, if you've got any hip niggles. And we're just going to flap the knees. Keep the body upright. Close the eyes. Maybe even bring hands to our Yoni Mudra just to connect the masculine and the feminine divine energy, and sending that energy and that lovingness down towards your unborn baby or babies. taking an open twist, right hand onto right leg. Left hand is just going to sit so the fingertips are going to come onto the floor behind us, and we're just going to look over the left shoulder, take 3 breaths. Maybe have the palm facing up with this right hand so you're not gripping. And let's swap sides. 3 breaths, looking over the right shoulder. And coming all the way back. Let's bring the knees together. And we're going to, I say knees together and then forget that I'm not pregnant. So knees together but away from the body. And then open them and close them in. And one more. Lovely. And settle the legs straight without locking the knees. Have yourself some support, a cushion, or something that you can use to set in between the legs. So we're just going to take a forward fold. So we're going to reach forward, soften the knees, draw the toes back towards you. I'm going to face sideways because you can't see my feet. Can't see what I'm doing. Where is it? Where's my block? There it is. So knees soft. Block in between the legs or something, and draw the toes back towards you. Deep breath in, and as you breathe out, fold forward as far as feels comfortable, so as far as available. Make sure you're creating room and space for baby between the legs. So you're just letting baby squish between the thighs. And then see if your feet are rotating outwards, see if you can draw them inwards. And you should get more of a stretch down the outsides of the legs. Two more breaths. And slowly push into the fingers, either side of you, and lift the body up. We're going to just shift the bottom off the block, coming onto the floor as we start coming into final relaxation. So we're going to find ourselves laying on our left hand side. So use a cushion or support underneath the head. Grab yourself a blanket if you've got any near you, or if you can pause it and go and grab one if you don't have one, or maybe you don't need it, that's fine. We're going to just pop some support underneath the knees. Again, this is all optional, so you don't have to. This takes a little bit of pressure off the hips again. Sometimes it's actually quite nice to straighten the left leg and just rest this right leg on top here. And settle down like this. So wherever you are, just closing the eyes. And come back into your breath. Expanding your awareness to the sounds that are both within this space the sounds closest to you, and maybe the sounds that are furthest away. And trying our best not to intellectualize any sounds or to label any sounds. Just accept that they are there. And start establishing a really, really steady breath. Without forcing anything. Breathing without judgment. And as you establish that steady breath, I'd like you to observe the rhythm of the breath. The quality of your breath. Notice how the breath comes and goes. And just observe the coming and the going of breath. And allowing this breath to be at a natural and a steady pace. Notice if there are any quicker or slower breaths. Then begin to notice the rhythm of shifts from breath in to breath out. Inhalation to exhalation. It's a two-part rhythm. Coming in and going out. A circle of breath, one half going out and one half coming in. Then begin to notice where exhalation turns into inhalation. Watch these points and acknowledge the turning of breath at them. Feel the breath rhythm is set by these places, these tiny pauses between inhalation and exhalation, and the tiny pauses between exhalation and inhalation. And as your sense of breath rhythm becomes more acute, begin to notice how those pauses are not really pauses, but they are places of their own. The rhythm of breath as you watch, it might now seem to shift. based on the relationship between 2, inhale and exhale, to a rhythm based on a relationship between 4, inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Now the circle of breath expands into this awareness, moving freely, effortlessly. Know that within this continuous rhythmic cycle of circles, everything is the same and everything is changing. Breath keeps coming, breath keeps changing. Every breath is a complete rhythmic cycle. In and pause, out and pause. Each cycle leads away from the previous breath and towards the coming breath. Every rhythmic breath cycle contains within its circle all that we need to know. That things always change. The inhalation turns into the pause that follows. The pause turns into the out-breath. The out-breath then turns into the pause that follows. The individual breath cycle is complete, but its rhythm continues. Watch the rhythm continuing, containing within it the individual breath circles. These cycles that lead on to the next. Know that the truth of the breath circle is just this. Right now, I am breathing in. Right now, I am watching the breath turn to leave. Right now, I am breathing out. Right now, I am waiting for the breath to turn back in. Watching the rhythmic breath cycle, observe patterns of change, pause and release. Each cycle of breath invites understanding that moments of change or pause or release are always happening, over and over again. Each rhythmic breath cycle is unique, and each one part of a pattern of change, pause and release. bringing your awareness back into the space that you are in. Expanding your awareness into the sounds within your area right now and taking them further beyond your space. Start taking a little bit of movement through the fingers, the toes. When you hear the bell, gently bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. Bring yourself up to seated. Give the shoulders a roll. Maybe rock the head from side to side. And slowly bring your hands into that yoni mudra, so the thumbs and the index fingers together, resting on your baby. And closing the eyes. Nothing could have prepared your heart to open like this. From beyond the skies and stars, the echo arrived inside you and started to pulse with life. Each beat a tiny act of growth, traversing all our ancient shapes on its way home to itself. Once it began, you were no longer your own. A new, more courageous you, offering itself in a new way to a presence you can sense, but you have not yet seen nor known. It has made you feel alone in a way that you never knew before. Everyone else sees only from the outside what you feel and feed with every fibre of your being. Never have you travelled further inward where words and thoughts become half-light, unable to reach the fund of brightness strengthening inside the night of your womb. Like some primeval moon, your soul brightens the tides of essence that flow to your child. You know that your life has changed forever. For in all the days and the years to come, distance will never be able to cut you off from the one you now carry for 9 months under your heart. May you be blessed with quiet confidence that destiny will guide you and mind you. May the emerging spirit of your child imbibe encouragement and joy from the continuous music of your heart, so that it can grow with ease, expectant of wonder and welcome when its form is fully filled, and it makes its journey out to see you and settle at last, relieved and glad in your arms. Reach the arms out, take a breath in, kiss the hands into prayer. As you breathe out, guide your prayer into your heart space. Thanking yourself for your practice. From my heart to your heart, may you be safe, may you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be peaceful. Namaste.